Hey now, it's Sharon, and I'm back to share another idea on how to better police. But I'm going to share what I went through right after whistleblowing the second time, what I went through financially, um, being forced to retire, and things like that. So, if you're new to the channel, I'm a retired detective. I worked for 20 years for a southeastern city in the US, and I was also in the military. I'm sharing my ideas and experiences and opinion on how we can better policing here in the US. And so, with that being said, I wanted to share what I went through right after retirement, the forced retirement, up until this very day speaking. What is it, the 30th of December, 2024? Back April of 2014 was when I retired. I tell the story in other videos. Um, I retired after a couple of years of whistleblowing, and I told you I had checked out. I couldn't pass my weapons qualification. And so I went through every measure. I had 50 opportunities to pass with a 240, I think it was 240. And the closest I got was a 238 with my weapon. And I even took a recruit class. I was put into a recruit class, did all that, still didn't pass. And and not passing, I was referred for dismissal. And so I had to make some decisions then at that time. If I'm fired, I don't get my retirement. I lose that. I lose a lot. And no, I wasn't offered a civilian position because of, not being able to qualify. I guess because of the whistleblowing and me making a big stink about it. I guess they just wanted me gone, like, move on. So yes, I did retire and I took my money out of retirement. At that time, I was thinking, by the time I'm 55 or 60, I forgot the year. How old was I supposed to be? 56, I think it was. 56, I'm supposed to retire, full retirement. I didn't have another job to go to. And like I said, it was 2019. My dad died in June. And I lived off that retirement. I paid the credit cards off and things like that. I applied for other jobs and I kept noticing people, they weren't feeling the resume. And my daughter suggested, she said, don't put that you have a master's or you're a doctoral candidate. And I felt like that would be lying if I didn't put all that stuff on my resume. And she said to me, she said, they're viewing you as a problem. And I never thought about it like that. Because she said, you go to your job and they're asking people to do certain things and you're old enough with enough experience to know, no, we're not doing it. And that would be me. That would be me. But she said, yeah, don't put that on there. I took her advice to some degree and I kept applying, and then COVID-19, the pandemic happened. I ended up getting COVID-19. That's when I started this channel. I started an online store, things like that. I started to put my book together. But yeah, I was making $32. Yeah, about $32, $33 an hour back in 2019 when I retired. I am currently now making $18.91 an hour. Yeah, you heard me right. $18.91 an hour. And most weeks I work 40 hours a week. Is it hard? Yes. It's not even going I'm not even making it paycheck to paycheck. But God, my faith in a higher power has gotten me through this. Yes, I told you I borrowed money from my family, friends, and of course I want to pay them back. But currently, I'm making $18.91. When people sit there and say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps and that's BS, I will go as far as to say this. Back in the day, because I'm Generation X, that there was some truth. The harder you work, the better lifestyle you would live. That's not true nowadays. That's not true. Here it is, $18.91 I'm making an hour. That's more than minimum wage, federal minimum wage. And you expect someone to live on that? I have a mortgage. My mortgage is almost paid off. But, and that's because of the 20 years I did with the police department. Now I'm making $18.91, and I have a 1 or 2, 3 more months left on my car. I still have a mortgage. I still have, you know, things that go on with the house, things that go on with the car, much less trying to buy myself a package of panties. It is hard. I see all this fussing and fighting and going back and forth with the two parties, and I'm not even going to comment. I'm going to leave that alone. But going back to what I was saying, yeah, the pandemic came along, and of course, I didn't get a job then. I ended up getting my first job actually was an Amazon job, $15 an hour. And when I tell you, I worked early in the morning from like 10 until 3, I think it was. Amazon wanted to control your every movement. They knew wherever you were in that warehouse by your badge, they knew where you were, how many steps, how long you were taking, and that felt like slavery. So I didn't do that long because $15 an hour, I was using that in gas to get there. And then they weren't giving me the hours that I wanted, okay? I went on and I did some DHS work, working with the state in a sense. I was a contractor, and I was driving parents to their court-appointed meetings with their children, trying to get the parents and kids back together. I did that, and that came to $17 an hour at times. And that wasn't worth it either because of the wear and tear on my car. Something would go wrong. You might as well say my whole check is going to that. Here it is. I am a substitute teacher at a school, at a private school, and I make $18.91 an hour. And most weeks I'm working 40 hours. If you did the math, it's about $151, $52 a day. And then 10 days, because every 2 weeks is 10 days pay. You can see how much that is. But I see people complaining about $80,000 a year. What I wouldn't give to make $80,000 a year right about now. But yeah, I wanted to share that little bit with you because you don't hear people talking about what happens after whistleblowing. What happens to the whistleblower? What happens to the person that took the initiative to stand or just tell the truth? And what happens? I've been sharing that in my other videos. But this is something that happens. It happened to me. I'm making $18.91. And not that I'm complaining. I just want people to know. We don't hear the stories. So I'm giving you my story. And yes, I have a 4-year degree. I have a master's degree. And I'm a doctoral candidate, which means ABD, all but dissertation. I want to finish my dissertation one of these days. I have that. And I'm 55 now. And I was getting down for a hot second, but I'm not. 2025, I believe, is going to be my greatest year yet on this earth. My greatest year. I have a grandson. Love that little boy. And the thing that I'm thinking about in the Bible, the scripture is leave an inheritance for my children's children. Wealth, not riches. And so I believe I can still do that. That's already done. I just have to walk it out through faith. Yeah, that's about it. I wanted to share financially as a whistleblower. It's not worth it in terms of you're not going to make any money. Actually, they're going to come after you through money. Like I told you in other videos, Walters, you like your second job? You like your days off? You know, all these little intimidation things that they would try to throw at me. I'm making $18.91 an hour at my current job. It's hard. It's very hard. I don't get EBT or SNAP or anything. And I did apply. And when I tell you the red tape that they put you through, a lot of people, that's another thought. People sitting here talking about immigrants this, migrants this, and they're taking everything. No, we have the same opportunities. We could get the same money for housing, food. It's just the red tape, the bureaucracy that they put us through. We need to get rid of the red tape, period. Get rid of the red tape. Yeah, and I'll leave it at that. Stop sitting here saying that immigrants or migrants are taking all this. The red tape for them is not as hard as it is for us. We need to just get rid of the red tape. The money's there. And I say that because even with the food stamps, I just wanted a little bit of help. I called, I did the whole process. Then I get a letter saying I missed my date. It says they called me, which was not true. Tried to get a supervisor, left a message. I didn't want to go through that anymore. Even with the VA, I'm going to appeal my denial for the whole knee injury that I received way back in basic training. I applied, I sent my application in. Here's some more bureaucracy, BS. Sent my application in. I tell them to go back to Fort McClellan, 1996. I went to the doctor. I went to sick call. Right after that, I couldn't stand long on my knee. If I stood more than an hour, it would swell up. Fast forward to 2024. If I stand more than 45 minutes on my legs, that left knee is swelling up. And that's all because of that. You know, back in the day, I thought I was young. I'm gonna just push through it. And then a friend of mine was like, no, they owe you some money. And I started to think about it. How much would the disability help with this $18.91? It's another story. I'm not complaining. I'm sharing. I'm just sharing. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'll come back next week and share some other things with you. But, oh yeah, here's my book. I don't know if you can see that. My book. I'll leave a link for the description. I also have an online store with the motto for the business that I have. You know, the motto is, because I strongly believe this, it doesn't matter what the haters say. They can't convince Jesus. There's nothing you can say to Jesus to convince him of what you hating on about me. He loves me that much. All right? All right. Take a look at the online store. The link is in the description. And as is our tradition, subscribe, like, comment. I keep forgetting to do that, but yeah, do that. And as is our tradition, you don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. Talk to you later. Bye.